I'm going to give you the entire blueprint to succeed in real estate investing. And I'm talking about residential real estate, your run-of-the-mill, wholesaling, novations, fix and flips, buy and hold. I mean, that's really it in a nutshell. But then I'm also going to break down for you why most people don't succeed in this business. We have coached hundreds of people, and it's amazing to me how few people actually do the blueprint that I'm going to lay out for you. I'm going to give you all the ingredients. It is up to you to take the steps. And I know why people don't do it. It is fear. And this is what we need to overcome, everybody. I'm going to help you do that as well. If you're new to the channel, my name is Dave. We are The Cream. We're a real estate investment channel, but we're also heavily into personal development for the simple reason that, everybody, it is one life. Your brain cannot compartmentalize the segments of your life, which is your mindset / spirituality, obviously your business, your relationships, and your health. Our ego likes to create these little categories and create to-do lists and create scheduling, and that's your conscious mind, right? The subconscious mind only knows one. Everything's connected in the subconscious mind. So the more we work on every aspect of our life, it's going to improve our real estate investment businesses dramatically. In fact, you cannot succeed in real estate investing. I know for a fact. I work and have coached with numerous people where it is a silver platter given to them exactly what to do, but they don't take action. They don't do it, right? So the reason is, it is that personal development piece, which is so important. It's building the confidence. It is overcoming fear. And we are able to do that when we work on every area of our life. It's not just working on the business. So let's get into some real estate stuff. Here's the blueprint, everybody. There's really two ways to make money in real estate. You're either flipping properties or you're buying and holding properties for cash flow and equity. You're flipping properties for a profit, or you're buying and holding rental properties for monthly cash flow, equity buildup, right? That's what that does. And when it comes to the flipping business, there's really only a few ways to flip properties. You got your wholesaling / novations. I consider those the same. I'm going to explain what those are if you're new. You got the wholesale novation play, or you got the fix and flip play, or some variation of fix and flip. Maybe you're not going to do a lot of fixing, but maybe you're still buying the property to resell for a profit. The wholesaling and the novation play, the reason that is categorized in of itself is because with both of those scenarios, you don't have to take title to generate profits with the property. So you're controlling the property without ownership. We love the wholesale and the novation play simply because there's no risk, very little to no risk. Where does the risk come into play in real estate investing? Well, number one, when you're taking title to a property, putting your name on anything leaves you open to some risk there, and or taking on debt or taking on a loan to acquire this property, right? With wholesaling and novations, you don't do either. You never own the property and you don't take on the debt. So it's a great way to generate profits and generate revenue, which is much needed as you're growing and scaling a business here, everybody. You got to keep the oxygen of money flowing into your business, and you need to be monetizing every single opportunity that comes across your plate. A lot of these opportunities that come across your plate, you're not going to want to take the risk of owning this property, taking on the debt. So you got to know the wholesale play, and that's very simple. We've got endless videos on this stuff. You can find a million videos online about it. You're putting a property into contract. Let's say you put a property in contract for $100,000. You go find a buyer for $120,000. You assign the contract over to that buyer. They pay you a $20,000 assignment fee. So they come in with their $120,000. They close the deal. You keep the $20,000. Seller gets the $100,000 that you promised them with that purchase and sale agreement, that contract that you originally got. It's a wholesale deal. You made $20,000. You never owned the property. You never took on any debt. A novation is very similar to a wholesale deal in that you're not going to own the property. You're never going to take on debt, but the way you find your buyer is different. It's not just a cash buyer. A wholesale deal is primarily you're finding a cash buyer, the guy for $120,000 that we found, right? It's just a cash buyer. Well, you're going to be getting leads and you're going to be generating opportunities where there's not a lot of cash buyers. So with the novation, you're able to still put the property in purchase and sale agreement. It is a different contract that we use. We give all of our paperwork away. It's in School. I'll put the link in the description below, school.com/real estate coaching. You get all our paperwork. You get instructions on how to do this stuff. There's no excuses here, everybody. The only excuse is the fear. And we're going to overcome that too, right? With Novations, though, you're getting a property into contract, then you're also getting permission from the seller to market this property on the multiple listing services, just like a realtor does. You're putting it on the MLS, and then you're attracting a buyer, not necessarily a cash buyer, but even somebody maybe who's using an FHA, a traditional 30-year mortgage, a traditional homeowner loan. So in a wholesale deal, you're primarily selling it to a cash buyer who's an investor, buying at a discount. With a novation deal, you are open to whatever buyer, but you're also opening it to buyers who are actually going to live there and use a traditional homeowner loan. But that's how you flip properties. That's one aspect of the flipping business, which is wholesaling and novations. The second side of this real estate business that we do is the buy and hold. It's where you're buying a property, right? Financing a property, and you're getting it fixed up, and you're renting it out. And ideally, your rent payment that you're collecting is greater than the debt payment that you used to acquire and fix the property. That's how this works. Now, doesn't matter what you're doing in real estate. It doesn't matter if you're doing wholesaling, novations, fix and flips. And the fix and flip, let me touch on that real quick. That's where you're getting a great deal on a property, but now you're actually taking ownership. You're actually taking title to this property. More than likely, you're using debt, you're using leverage to do this deal, right? Unless you're a trust fund baby driving around town with a blank checkbook, which I don't think you are, right? You got to use a loan. So you got to factor in your cost of money. You're going to buy this property. You're going to also borrow not only enough money to buy the property, but also enough money to fix this property up. Get it from a private lender. We prefer private lending over institutional lenders, like lending companies, because we, like a private lender, will give you 100% financing, meaning they'll give you all the money that you need for the purchase and the fix up. A lot of these institutions or these businesses, they're not going to give you 100% of the money that you need. A lot of them are only going to give you maybe 80%, 70%, something like that. So you've got to get that gap funding, right? You got to put some money down, or you got to find a way to fill that gap, because they won't give you 100% of the money that you need for this deal. That's why we prefer a private lender. But if you're doing this business, be open to whatever. If it's a good deal, you got to find a way to make money off of it, right? And then also the second part here, the little asterisk to the fix and flip, there's something called wholesale. It's kind of like a wholesale deal, but mixed with a retail deal. And this is where you're buying the property. Maybe you're fixing it up a little bit, cleaning it up, throw a little paint on the walls. It's not a major rehab, right? Just a light rehab, a splash and dash is what I like to call that, right? And then you're selling it to maybe another investor or to a do-it-yourselfer type of buyer. Wholesale is a great way to make money, but I categorize that in the fix and flip business as well, because you're still taking on the debt and you're still taking ownership and you're still doing some type of improvement to the property. That's the flipping business. Then you got the buy and hold, where you're buying it, fixing it, renting it, and then you're collecting a monthly rent payment from somebody who's living there, and ideally the rent exceeds your debt. That's how this works. That's it. Everything, regardless of what type of aspect of this business that you're doing, and you should be doing all of them. Really, you should. And if you're actively attracting deals, which we're going to get into the fundamentals of this business here in just a minute, which is attracting sellers, negotiating, analyzing, and then your exit strategy. But everything's determined on finding good deals. That's why it is so important that you learn how to get off-market deals. The best deals come from off-market, meaning these are not properties that are listed with a realtor. These are not properties that are sitting on the market or anything like that. There are still some deals, if you're consistent with making offers and you do it that way, you could find some gems out there. The best way to do this to get the home run deals is you got to find off-market deals. So you got to do direct mail, maybe to get a foreclosure list, you get a back taxes list, cold calling. This is how this works. You drum up the business from off-market opportunities. Now, the number one thing that we're doing, and I'll put the link in the description of this video, is we're doing pay per lead. So we use a company, they're called Property Leads. It's no secret. I'm not holding anything back. This is exactly what we do. We work with this company called Property Leads, and you pay per lead. So you determine what counties that you want leads, and they drum up the lead for you, and then you pay per lead. It's anywhere from $75 to as much as $300. It's going to be more expensive the better the market or the more competitive the market is. So we are in central Ohio. If you get leads closer to Columbus, which is a major MSA, obviously more competition, you're looking in the 300 range. But we also go all over the whole state of Ohio. And in some of the smaller areas, you're looking 50, $75. It's all good. And if you have your exit strategy game locked in, which we're going to help you get that locked in, you can do deals in these other markets if you can wholesale or do novations, right? Just because, remember, you're not going to be the one taking on the debt and taking on this project if it's in BFE, right? Some small town that you got a great deal. You got, a great deal on a property, low cost per lead. Just do a novation on it or do a wholesale deal on it, right? This way you can monetize these low cost leads through wholesaling and novations. And I would only mess with fix and flips and or buy and holds in markets and areas that you felt 100% comfortable in. So with that being said, we have to attract sellers. We use pay per lead, and then we have an affiliate with them. Use our link. You get free $50. We get free 50. I don't know what it is. Free coffee is what I call that. We're going to use our link and we get a free cup of coffee. But we got to be attracting sellers. These are motivated sellers. We like the pay per lead method, but whatever you choose to be attracting sellers, that's great. Next, you need to be negotiating deals. And I'm here to let you know, guys, this is the biggest misconception in the whole real estate investment space, right? This whole real estate investment stuff. Everybody's teaching how to negotiate with sellers. It's like people are selling courses, people are selling coaching, negotiation. It ain't some hard negotiation here, everybody. This is basically finding their needs, finding their motivation, and just talking to them like a normal human being. We provide scripts and all the scripts, and we got scripts, and it's in school. I already gave you the link for the school. It's free, right? Nobody wants to talk to somebody who sounds like a robot with a script, okay? Just be yourself, be genuine. Talk to somebody like you're sitting at a restaurant or sitting at a bar and just chilling. Talk to them like I'm talking to you right now. Relax, right? That's what this negotiation thing is. What are you looking to get for the property? What do you owe? And what you're seeking is, can I help this person? If you approach it where you're genuinely trying to help them and still make a profit as a business, and you're fully upfront about the fact that you're a business, there's no sneakiness, guys. There's no bullshit. It's so stupid, all right? Be yourself, be genuine. That's negotiation. It's so easy. It is extremely easy. We got tons of videos about this stuff on our YouTube channel, as well as in the school platform. But just be yourself. That's my advice. And you got to know how to analyze deals. And you don't need access to some fancy system to analyze property values. The only thing you're really interested in when you're analyzing a deal is like, okay, what are properties trading for? What are the ARV? What is the after repair value of what are other properties that are all fixed up selling for in this immediate area, right? Apples to apples, oranges to oranges. What is similar properties selling for if it was all fixed up? Also pay attention to what are similar properties selling for all cash that are fixer-uppers. You obviously, if you're buying this property as is, you want to be closer to that end of the scale here. You want to be buying this thing for, you want to be competitive. You want to see what the other investors are paying for properties, and you want to be there and ideally lower, right? But you can get so much data free online anymore. Zillow, right? I mean, it's actually legit. If you have access to some fancy program, there's a million of them out there, use it. But I'm here to let you know it is not difficult at all. The only thing you need to know is, what is the ARV, what is the cash as is value, what are properties renting for, and then what are you getting it for? And that's going to come from the seller. You don't even have to research that. You just ask, right? Then you got to determine your exit strategy. I'm going to tell you, guys, if it's because we market in the entire state of Ohio, right? We talk to sellers all over Ohio. So you got to be like decently good at you just got to get the property in contract over the phone. And this is not some scary thing either. Get DocuSign. This is so easy, guys. Get DocuSign today. We use .loop. It doesn't matter what you use. It's all the same, right? We provide contracts in school. It's all there for you. And just go through the contract with the person over their phone. I've helped 90-year-old ladies figure it out on a smartphone. This is not hard. You get the property into contract, and if it's outside of your, it's about outside of the area that you're very familiar with, I would just straight up go for wholesale and or novation, right? If it's in an area where there's not a lot of cash buyers, like a smaller city, you pretty much just got to go with the novation because there's not a lot of cash buyers. If there's a decent amount of cash buyers, but it's in a geography that you're not, familiar with, you could try to wholesale it because there's probably cash buyers. There's more buying activity in these major MSAs, right? But if it's in a small area, keep that in mind. You want to go novation. And that's it, everybody. I'm going to encourage you to only take on the debt, only take on, fix and flips, wholesales, and or buy and holds in areas that you are very familiar with. This is kind of common sense. I don't want you guys taking all this risk in no man's land, right? But you can still monetize the leads that you get in no man's land. And that's going to be through wholesaling and or doing novations. So, that's it. That's how you make money. Why don't people succeed? I talk to you guys every single day. I'm on the phone. If you want to communicate with me, best way to do it, send me a DM on Instagram at @TheRealDaveP. I'll put that in the description as well. I answer every single DM. But guys, why don't people do it? It's the courage. It's the courage. There is limiting beliefs here, everybody, that I have dealt with my entire life. Watch the videos on YouTube. I tell my story. Guys, I have a massive addictive personality. I haven't drank alcohol in almost 3 years. It'll be 3 years next month. Excited for that. That's because I used to drink and use drugs and things like that because I'm so damn insecure. So much insecurity, right? That I was trying to fill that void. A lot of us deal with it. Some people deal with it through drugs and alcohol. Guilty. That was me. Other people deal with it, but just by playing small. They're just afraid. There's that fear aspect. So here's my tips for you here. You need to start to pay attention. Awareness is the key. Awareness, paying attention to how you are. Awareness is shedding light on your behavior. When you feel the fear, right? When you feel yourself holding back, you know what the number one way people express their fear without admitting it is? Procrastination, right? Or doing all these nonsense tasks that have nothing to do with the revenue generating activities that are actually going to produce results in your life. Oh, I'm setting up a spreadsheet. I'm setting up a database. Yeah, but how many sellers have you talked to? All we need to do is generate sellers. I've already given you guys the playbook. What do you do to make money? You attract sellers, you negotiate deals, analyze deals, and get an exit strategy in place. Done. What are we doing? We're setting up spreadsheets. We're doing this. We're doing all this. I'm going to a networking meeting. What is that? Who are you going to meet? Everybody you need. Who do you need in this business? You need lenders. They're all online. Ask me. I'll give you some lenders. Hit me up. Right? You need contractors. Maybe you find them. I don't think you're going to find them at a networking meeting. Maybe in Facebook groups. Right? So don't fill your time with this nonsense tasks where you feel productive or you feel like you're doing something, but you're not productive. You're not creating results. And a lot of that is fear expressing itself. So what are we going to do to overcome the fear? What are we going to do to build self-confidence? And I'm here to let you know, everybody, I'm preaching to the choir here. I lived with so insecure for so long. So insecure. So what do we got to do is we got to start to trust ourselves. We got to start to like ourselves and love ourselves. And the only way we're going to do that is by fulfilling commitments to ourselves. I'm going to encourage you all to set up a daily routine for success. And I have shared my daily routine. I'll go through it really quick. Wake up uncomfortably early. The reason you want it to be uncomfortable is because that's your first win of the day. It's hard. When you're laying in bed, that alarm goes off and it's a ridiculous hour that you're not normally, used to waking up. Your blood level's low, your oxygen level's low, you're groggy. We all are. But that is your opportunity to have your first win of the day because you're going to get your ass in gear, right? Next, what I do, and you can kind of take and you can cherry pick whatever works for you, but the waking up early is non-negotiable, right? What I do is I jump right into an ice cold shower, get out, dry off, 100 push-ups, then I drink my first coffee, and then I do journaling. And the journaling that I do is not some gratitude fairy dust, process here. A lot of that's bullshit too, right? I believe we should live in gratitude and we should express gratitude during our waking life right now. Express gratitude for the fact that you have a device in front of you, right? Live in gratitude. This is a non-negotiable. Just live in gratitude. But when it comes to the journaling, best thing you can do is shine light on the darkest parts of you. Where am I playing small? If you want to really know, I ask myself every day, where am I being a bitch? Where am I, where am I being a bitch? Right? Where am I being afraid? And I shed light on it. Because then when those moments come up throughout my day, which they will, right? You have already shined light on these aspects of yourself where you're not playing full out, and you're going to overcome this in real time because you've already shined light on it first thing to start your day. From there, I get to the gym. You want to get to the gym early, everybody. You want to get the blood moving, the oxygen moving. I've already done 100 push-ups, obviously. That's just to get my brain turned on. But then I do 200 burpees minimum every single day, plus some other stuff. Get back to the house around 7, and then I'm helping with my family. Then I get into the office and just crush it all day. Sometimes I'll lift a little bit more weights on my way home from the office. I need the physical activity, everybody, is also non-negotiable. I needed to raise my damn frequency. I needed to raise my vibration because this shit is crazy, right? Like I have to have that time with myself where I am self-inflicting positive adversity through workouts that I could overcome. That is me filling that void. That is me feeling good about myself. It's building that security, it's building that self-worth is what it's doing. So I highly encourage you guys to implement some kind of adversity, positive adversity into your life through waking up early. And another thing that I do, everybody, throughout my day, I track every single meal. I bring my food every day. I do not eat out. I've lost 35 damn pounds already, and I'm still going. And it's just from eating clean. The food that we ingest completely affects our vibration. It completely affects our energy. And that's going to affect your energy in your real estate business. Come on. You got to have energy when you're talking to sellers, talking to lenders. When you're doing these RGAs, these revenue generating activities, you got to have freaking energy, guys. Right? Energy and confidence. So you're going to get energy through working out and through your food, the food that you ingest, right? And you're going to get confidence through overcoming adversity that you self-impose onto yourself. Waking up early, you're going to feel good. You're going to feel like a winner, right? When it comes to positive affirmations and auto-suggestion, I am a big believer in that, but I'm a believer in it when things are going bad. You only gauge yourself and only gauge your progress when shit is hitting the fan. That is when your true self is shown. So pay close attention when you are experiencing outside adversity, right? Stimulus. Pay attention to how you respond. Get away. And when you're shining, light on yourself and your behavior, and you are paying attention and you are, awareness is the key. You will begin to find yourself responding to situations and not reacting. So many of us live in what the Buddhists call the monkey mind, right? It's just like crazy knee-jerk reactions, and you're just on a hamster wheel at that point. Slow it down. And you know what? The journaling in the morning is going to help you do that because you're going to know when you fall from grace. This is what you should be writing. Where do I fall from grace, right? Where do I lose it? Where do I let the monkey mind take over, that ego mind? So when we are aware of it, right? I think Viktor Frankl, he's got that great quote. He's like, life happens, or all your power is between the stimulus and your response, right? The stimulus is what happens to you, and there's that moment. And when you are actually aware of how you are consciously responding instead of just reacting, knee-jerk reaction, that's that monkey mind. We must control. In fact, I got a new name for mine. I just told RJ about it today. I call it the monster. It's the monster. It's the monster, guys. The monster wants to take over. That's the old self. That's who we're getting away from. The new self is fully competent, fully wealthy, abundant, right? Loving relationships, right? Your highest and best version of yourself in full alignment. Remember, you're a spiritual being having a human experience. The 10.0 version of yourself is waiting for you and calling you every single day. And you know if you're in alignment with that 10.0 version of yourself by the way you feel. Pay attention to your emotions. It's not just thoughts are things, it's emotionally charged thoughts are things, right? So, what's going to be important to keep that self confidence high is really remove anything that gives you instant gratification, but then also carries with it any type of shame, regret, or embarrassment. And it's easy. A guy said to me at the gym the other day, he's like, "Oh, anything I do, I don't feel shame or embarrassment about it." Great. That means it's not a vice, right? If you genuinely and you're brutally honest with yourself and you don't feel any shame and regret with your behavior, perfect. But if you feel the slightest bit of shame, regret, or embarrassment, where if you were to get caught doing it and somebody saw you doing it, you might be a little bit not okay, that is what you need to get rid of in your life. And by not doing that anymore, your vibration is naturally going to raise, your confidence level is naturally going to raise, and you're going to see results in every area of your life. Because remember how we started this video, the brain does not know how to compartmentalize your life. Only your ego does. Only you do, right? You create these categories, the core four, the business, the relationships, the mindset, the health, right? Like we create it, but it's one life to the subconscious mind. So when you fulfill your commitments in other areas of life, i.e. your health, your relationships, right? Your environment, not living in, don't live in a pigsty. Cleanliness truly is next to godliness. It really is, right? Keep your environments clean. That's going to help your business because the subconscious does not know the difference. The way you do something is the way you do everything. It's going to produce results for you guys. So with that being said, I hope everyone's having a wonderful day. Make sure you let me know, hit me up on Instagram, let me know where I can help you out, and leave those notes in the comments. We'll see you soon.